The party king who once ruled the celebrity scene is now unraveling under the weight of explosive insider truths. The revelation that he may have manipulated the very stars who once worshipped him could shatter everything you thought you knew.
We were talking to Tracy. She suspects that there are other people that might be caught up in this, that, there might be more charges laid, and that a lot of people in Diddy's inner circle may actually choose to turn against him and share their own stories about what they may have witnessed.
That was the big one for me. Talking to Tracy, she made note again of the video evidence, which is, as you say, pretty shocking to think about. But, was that a striking contrast to you when we're talking about people potentially turning on Combs? Because for so long, over months and years now, we've heard that he has this really close-knit group around him who, allegedly, would protect him at all costs.
Yeah, you even look at, we spoke to Susie Siegel a couple of months ago. She was Combs' assistant for a very short period of time, but described kind of the power and the magnetism, I guess, that he has and how loyal his supporters are and the people that worked for him and with him. And so I suppose that when you then look at what Tracy has said, that some of those people may turn on him, some of those people may decide to, speak with federal agents in the case against him. That's a
twist that feels straight out of a high-stakes Netflix docuseries. Sean Diddy Combs, once the undisputed architect of legendary soirees and cultural phenomena, is now facing a reckoning deeper than any headline. His empire, built on dazzling parties, luxury brands, and an uncanny ability to stay in the limelight, now teeters on the edge of collapse. With accusations ranging from sex trafficking and sexual violence to racketeering, Diddy's story is transforming into a dark, multi-dimensional saga. As a coalition of celebrities steps forward to expose the hidden truths behind his rise to fame, the world watches as the myth unravels.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, it's a mistake. They should have stuck with the original indictment. The superseding indictment about, that he had employees that he didn't pay, and the paragraph surrounding that, I guess they're going to throw in like an element there for that paragraph. I don't think it was useful. I don't think it was something that was necessary. And I think it cheapens the rest of the case, in my opinion, as to what they're actually going for and actually what they're trying to prove. And it's very difficult in these type of cases. And I'm not saying that it's easy on either side, but it's very difficult on these type of cases to have a jury to say, hey, these aren't two consenting adults. These aren't individuals that have been paid for whatever they're doing. This isn't what they're making it out to be as a sex trafficking case. In your mind, when someone says sex trafficking, it's aghast, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, what are the facts from this sex trafficking? What could have been be? And then all of a sudden you hear, well, it was that his girlfriends and himself were engaging in these prostitutes that were come over to their house, and they were paid between $5,000 and $10,000 for the whatever happened. And that's the sex trafficking. That's kind of a hump that they have to overcome. Although legally speaking, you can make the argument. It's still in people's minds. How is this sex trafficking? And like I said, it is not that the legal elements aren't going to be met, because I think they are. And in terms of what the evidence is, it seems like they've reached that point.
Right.
What my argument is a jury is going to have a tough time wrestling with charging someone criminally for someone calling a prostitute to come over and make $10,000.
I said back in the day, people used to think that Kirk Burroughs and Diddy was lovers, or they had some kind of relationship like that. Remember I told you that? And you was like...
I remember that. You told me that years ago.
Yeah, and you said to me, yo, you gonna speak about it? I said, nah, I ain't gonna speak about it, bro. You understand? I'm gonna wait till he speak about it. So people who had known that, I always knew that, because I used to follow Puff to Kirk house when we had the building and the red zone, and we used to take the money from those clubs and we had to drop it off at Kirk house. So we wasn't dropping. He would, he was staying there. You spending the night at another house and you got a apartment with your girl somewhere else. Okay. So When I seen in the lawsuit that he said that Kirk said that Puff was SAing him, sexually assaulting him, sodomizing him, doing all kind of things to him, I first thought like, but hold up, they was lovers or they was, but that's his boss. So maybe the boss cannot have sex with people. The CEO can't have people that work for.
Adding yet another incendiary layer to this unfolding drama is rapper 50 Cent. Once a peer in the fierce world of hip-hop, 50 Cent has long harbored a simmering feud with Diddy, a rivalry that has evolved from bitter diss tracks into a full-blown public denunciation. Now, as he embarks on producing a hard-hitting Netflix docuseries promising to peel back the layers of Diddy's glittering yet controversial empire, 50 Cent recalls a time when those infamous parties were the pinnacle of success. His pointed criticisms serve as a stark reminder that the man behind the charm may have been orchestrating a performance far darker than anyone could have imagined.
Certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
We saw that video. It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like, you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New Yorkers dope. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was fair.
What does it feel like all these years, you being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this. Yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
it might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damned. They were and pillaged. This was what was going on, right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh shoot, like. Then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Speaking of, in particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Diddy Do It.
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew Diddy's character.
Right.
Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle. You weren't going to the parties. So what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true?
Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like, I didn't make the allegations. I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else. But I did feel uncomfortable with the way you represent the idea of going to these projects.
To come party with me.
Yeah. And then that swayed me away from it. Just that alone.
So you didn't realize
as much stuff was coming. Like, when I seen today, it was allegations of 3 men that said he drugged them and it's a long time, to be honest with you. Like, when people don't remember being violated for 20 years, it makes me feel a little hard.
What are your thoughts on the allegations against Jay-Z?
That was interesting. When I was saying things, not knowing exactly what I was saying, but I was going, where's Jay at? He's mad quiet. Like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's obvious now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also. You know, so I hope it works out because with his family, the things that go on internally is those accusations are.
Not far behind in this emerging chorus is R&B singer Jaguar Wright, whose forthright stance has never wavered. Appearing on a late-night show, Wright didn't mince words. She boldly branded Diddy, along with other industry giants like Jay-Z, as monsters. Her blunt assessment resonates deeply with those who have long suspected that behind the glitz and glamour lies a history of exploitation and control. For Wright, this isn't just a personal grievance. It's a rallying cry for accountability in an industry that has too often turned a blind eye to abuse. Her insights inject a fierce authenticity into the narrative, urging viewers to rethink the cost of celebrity and the true price of power.
This whole situation with Diddy and everybody would not have happened if Diddy didn't put Carisha, Young Miami, out on Front Street, going to her shows, letting her talk about their relationship openly on her podcast, giving her a show. All this would have been still going on if Carisha never got the okay to kind of do a lot of stuff that Diddy never did do. What do you take to that? That Carisha might have sparked anger.
Yeah, nah, she ain't that relevant. She's exactly what they say. We're getting a DURG mute. She ain't that deep.
You don't
think this? Everything that she'll testify to, she's guilty of. Wherever this goes, she's gonna be on probation for quite some time. She ain't white. They ain't gonna let her go like they let that white boy go.
Do you feel is a woman scorned?
Come on now. Y'all know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Whatever that woman feels, she's got the right to feel. She earned it the hard way. And it's kind of disgusting that people are still trying to find a way to slut shame her. In order for any of this to have happened, she would have had to admit it, all of the things that she did wrong as well. She's already swallowed that. What about what fucking Umar Johnson has to say in it? That hogwash she did with Art of Dialogue, implying that the 13-year-old, now 37-year-old autistic victim was black, that a black father wouldn't stand for that. Like he literally sat up there and put a whole race on a Jane Doe who none of the details or anything about who she was mentioned. And then in fooldom fashion, he tied it all the way to Trump. Trump. So here's the lineup. They're trying to take down all the black billionaires, so when Trump gets in office, all the black billionaires will know not to help their people. And that's why all of this is happening. Because Trump is going to make the black billionaires not help their people.
So, can I ask you this, Jag? Because
Hogwash.
Hogwash.
These niggas ain't helping their people as it is.
So Jag, I got a very...
What the man doing?
Yeah, I got a very important question.
Laundering money through
13.27. An early career once buoyed by promises of stardom from the very mogul who claimed to launch dreams now paints a very different picture. In candid interviews, the rapper recalls nights filled with unfulfilled promises and the bitter taste of betrayal. He accuses Diddy of more than just career sabotage, alleging that the mogul manipulated creative credit and exploited loyalty as currency in an industry where trust was everything.
Yeah, bad boy for life. Yeah, Black Rob, you got Black Rob Muscle Game. You got Gangsta Lil Kim Puff, Forever. Man, I wrote the songs with like Cobain. I did the A-Ball and MJG Ride With Me. I mean, I did, if you do the discog, I have a whole bunch of songs. A lot of people don't know they'd be like, you only did one song for Puff. Or this one song for Bad Boy. As you check the history, do the resume, I got quite a few of them. You know what I'm saying? And there's plenty more. So that's nothing.
Right. So I gotta ask you, right? You being a part of Bad Boy at one point, news broke today that Diddy, he's stepping away from Revolt. How do you feel about that? And how do you feel about these lawsuits accusing Diddy of abuse? What do you think about that? You knowing Diddy, do you think he's capable of doing that, man?
Do I think? Yeah. Every man possibly is capable. I think he's very capable of doing it. It's in his character. That's who he is. That's what comes with power. That's what comes with arrogance. That's what comes with, what makes him. Power, that's just the selfishness to make you be like that. But with everything that's going on, man, you're looking at they dropping them left and right. Companies are parting ways with them. All of that's happening right now because he's tarnishing his own image. What I think is just what I call is a character assassination that's going on right now. It might be a female that likes you. She naturally just like you, but he likes her, but she likes you. He's upset about that. He don't like that. The fact that she like you and don't like him, because he done worked hard to get the money, the jewelry, the cars, the house, the pool, the everything else that he think he needs in order to make himself feel like that person, that man. And then you don't have to have none of that. And this female still likes you even more than she likes him. He hates that. So that to me, I call that a man who has a problem with real men.
That's crazy, man. So he'll feel a type of way if a female wanted one of his friends and not him.
Yeah, you know, he got to be the one, the shiny suit. That's why he put on the shiny suit. It's only one shiny suit. Can't be two shiny suits in the video, man. It's only one shiny. It can't be two kings under one castle. He know those words. Milk knows those words, man. Milk knows those words.
Have you and Diddy ever got into it over a female?
Yeah, I had this, one time. You know, I want y'all to know this. These stories are strictly for when I was young and I didn't know no better. But now that I'm a grown man, my whole life has changed, man. I'm a different kind of...
Then there is Aubrey O'Day, whose journey from being a vital member of the revolutionary girl group Donity Kane to becoming a casualty of Diddy's ruthless ambition is both heart-wrenching and infuriating. O'Day's departure from the group, under circumstances she describes as steeped in control and intimidation, exposes a darker side of the industry, where success is measured not just in record sales, but in the cost paid by one's dignity. Her recollections of a time when every day was a battle against unseen forces underscore a painful truth. The glittering world of celebrity often masks a landscape of exploitation and emotional ruin.
When you are at a young age and you're being groomed, and like I said, America grooms us. Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of issues that were, instilled in all of us that we are not even aware of until you leave. Mm-hmm. But specifically in this setting, an abuser grooms you in that manner so that when they finally do violate you in a serious way, all of that to me is serious though, frankly. Mm-hmm. When grooming is serious. But when they violate you in a assault way, it's people like I was told that you kind of took pause on Cassie's story because it's 11 years that she dealt with something that sounds so traumatic. I guess kind of were the words I was kind of told that your perspective was. Is that accurate? There are so many witnesses. There are so many victims. Now, if or if not there were to be any type of investigation occurring, no victim should be or can communicate with other victims. And so victims are likely not communicating with victims. Mm. But a lot of people that know things or that are building things or whatever do reach out, do tell you everything. Sometimes they'll just write everything. I mean, I receive information whether I want to or not. But I've erred on the side of stepping away from the movie that's being made. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that literally, I mean that metaphorically. The movie of Diddy that's being painted right now. And I come back to myself, what I know to be true, what I know I witnessed, what I have receipts of, and what I believe. And I have pondered it all the way down to, I really adore one of his kids. So to me, I have to ask myself, this is a father. So you really need to be sure when you speak what you're speaking about and how you're speaking about it, because this is a man that's a father, and I think it takes a certain amount of something to be a good one. I'm not saying he is or isn't, but I have enough information at this point that I asked Gene just bluntly, is this a sociopath or is this somebody that can be...
Adding a splash of unfiltered humor and grim prophecy to the mix is comedian Cat Williams. On a now viral podcast, Williams warned listeners to steer clear of Diddy's parties, predicting that a reckoning would come swiftly. His blend of irony and streetwise wisdom punctuates the narrative with a stark reminder that no matter how high one climbs, the fall can be spectacular. Delivered with an almost conspiratorial candor, Williams' predictions contribute to a growing sense of inevitability, a reckoning that promises to upend the carefully constructed image of a mogul who once seemed untouchable.
Now, back in January, during his interview with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay, Cat Williams predicted all lies will be exposed in 2024. And many are pointing to the latest developments on Diddy's indictment as another example of the comedian predicting things that were soon to come. As news of the freak-off parties became public, many online would join in on the jokes, especially after headlines reported the FBI seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Over the weekend, Cat would take to his own Instagram story in order to comment on the ongoing news of Diddy's freak-off parties. He would repost an AI-edited clip from 1991's New Jack City. However, the clip showcased Diddy's face on Nino Brown's body and would imply that when it comes time for a trial, Diddy will be telling on a few people. Cat's caption for the reposted clip would read, "Diddy about to snitch on everybody." In addition to that, Cat would repost another clip, this time coming from the film Bad Boys 2. The caption, "POV, when you leave a Diddy party."
No, I'm not all right, Mike. 3 days of this shit got my nerves all rattled. My ass still hurts.
Veteran talk show host Wendy Williams, who has built her career on calling out the powerful, has also been an unyielding critic of Diddy. Williams' long-held grievances, stemming from personal and professional betrayals, offer a sharp, incisive commentary on the nature of celebrity worship and the exploitation that often underpins it. Her observations cut through decades of carefully spun narratives, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable reality that even those once ensnared by Diddy's magnetic allure can eventually find the courage to speak out.
I just were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down. I didn't get a chance to hit the sidewalk, you know what I'm saying? Before I knew it, out of nowhere. Nobody called. It's not even like he knew. It was just like weird. Almost like karma. Next thing I know, he's out of the car and there's a whole bunch of rah-rah going on outside, and I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And I send Cower and Skell out on the sidewalk, and he comes back in and says, "It's total outside." And they were about to set it on you.
Now, Kirk Burroughs was the president of Bad Boy Records, and he even commented on Wendy's impact in this feud between the record labels and the damage that she done. In 2022, Kirk detailed the East Coast-West Coast feud between Bad Boy and Death Row Records, how this was a big part of the 90s and Wendy was involved. Kirk claimed that Diddy's infant son and the boy's mother, Misa Hilton, were paid to take a picture with Diddy's rival, Suge Knight, which I'm finally saying his name right, it's Suge. I get it now. He says it got back to the East that Misa was there in the office and that Suge was meeting Justin Combs and possibly holding him in his arms, and that there was a photograph of them taking a picture together. Now this is where Wendy gets in. Keep in mind there's this feud between Bad Boy and Death Row Records. It got back to the East that Misa, so Diddy's baby mama, was there in the office and that Suge was meeting Justin Combs and possibly holding him in his arms, and that there was this photographer there taking a picture. That wasn't the picture we needed to see on our end or we wanted the world to see at all. But guess who got their hands on this picture of this man holding Diddy's baby? Well, Wendy Williams did. Wendy got the photo and announced that she had big news coming up on her radio station. The Bad Boy team had to intervene and prevent the photo from spreading to the public. And essentially, Diddy was able to use this scandal to get...
You got fired from Hot 97 years ago because of Diddy. All these years later to see where Diddy currently is. What do you feel about that situation?
Hey, when I watch TMZ and I see the stuff that goes on, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden I see me on TMZ. You know what I'm saying? It's really weird seeing me on TV when I'm caught in this position. You know what I'm saying? The other day I was watching Cookout, and there I am in the first opening scene. I was like, oh my God. Season 1, episode 13, there I am on Martin. You know what I'm saying? And as far as Diddy will go to prison for life, people. You don't know things that I knew about Diddy back in the day, and you want to know what? It's about time, people. It is about time. Diddy done.
She still got it.
Diddy done, doo-dah day.
How you doing? See, she still got it.
Wendy.
The queen has spoken. There you have it.
As legal battles intensify and Diddy's trial looms in May 2025, the stakes have never been higher. Courtroom dramas are set to collide with explosive digital evidence and a cascade of witness accounts that could reshape our understanding of an entire era in entertainment. Legal experts hint at a case that may reveal a systematic abuse of power, one where the tools of fame were repurposed to control and manipulate. And while the courtroom saga promises its own set of twists and turns, the offstage narrative, propelled by a coalition of once silenced voices, is equally riveting.
Well, honestly, Jesse, I feel like Diddy's appearance was probably the biggest story that happened inside that hearing. There was kind of an astonishing whoa when he walked inside that courtroom because he appeared noticeably grayer. I would even kind of equate it a little bit to Santa Claus, but he just appeared grayer. His hair was a lot whiter. Now, remember, the last time I was inside one of Diddy's hearings, that was back in December. We're in March, so that's just a 3-month time span of just that intense grayness. So either him being at MDC Brooklyn for this amount of time is weighing on him, this federal case is weighing on him, maybe even his fall from grace entirely is probably weighing on him, but he just looked visibly different. I will say, though, last time he appeared thinner. This time it seems like he did kind of pack on a little bit of pounds, and I don't say that in a disrespectful way at all, but he did seem to kind of put his weight back up from the last time that I saw him. But it really was just kind of a stark difference. Now, he was graying a little bit in the last hearing, that is no doubt, so it wasn't too big of a jump. But again, a lot of us who were sitting in the gallery, a lot of the reporters were just kind of like, whoa, because of just how astonishingly grayer he appeared during that time. Now, as far as who was inside that courtroom, it was, as far as his family goes, a lot smaller of a group than we've seen before. We've seen times where all of his kids, maybe with the exception of his now 2-year-old daughter, being inside that courtroom, putting up a united front. But again, this was kind of a smaller group this time. It was only Diddy's daughter, Jessie Combs, and it was Diddy's son, Christian Combs, also known as King, as well as Diddy's mother, Janice Combs. So, of course, when Diddy comes into the courtroom, that's the first thing he's looking out for, is that he's going to be looking out for his family. He's going to be waving to them. And like you had mentioned, Jesse, a key piece of evidence, and that's what the government was trying to argue there, that it is critical to their case to have this video admitted. Now, I will preface it and say this. The judge made no type of ruling on it, but he did kind of make a big suggestion. So before I get into that, let me just say the defense argues, and they kind of outlined this in their letter, that they believe that the video is deceptive. They have a forensic examiner who says that they put the video into editing software, and that CNN put the video into editing software, but that the times were changed, the sequence was changed, they covered up the timestamp. But let's face it, Jesse, we all saw that video. Whether or not CNN did allegedly speed up this video, or whether or not that they kind of framed different pieces in different sequences, it never takes your eyes kind of away from the fact, or that we saw with our own eyes, Diddy gruesomely beating up Cassie Ventura. It was terrible. It was really shocking. And, you know, we say it's shocking a lot, but I mean, I just remember watching that video because it did play on a loop on CNN that day, and it was just terrible.
If you're hungry for every new twist and explosive detail, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because when it comes to Diddy, the truth is coming, and you won't want to miss a single moment of this unraveling mystery.